5% thrower so far this season. Should go over 1,000 yards today. And he's 3-0 as a starter. So if he's having success, even though your backup quarterbacks are healthy, like specifically Danny Barrett, why change things?
This is Warman's fourth start. Barrett and Terrence Jones are both in uniform. Barrett for the second week, but they want to give him one more week before they play him to recover from the bone he broke in his ankle. Stampeders from their 13. Warman fakes a handoff and then throws to the right side. Crawford goes up for it, but can't bring it down at the 32-yard line. Well, it's a sunny day in Calgary, but there is definitely the feel of autumn in the air. 6 degrees Celsius. The wind, not a great factor. It favors the BC Lions in this opening quarter. We don't expect any precipitation. So a pretty good day, pretty good playing conditions for the teams. 2nd and 10, Stampeders from their 13-yard line. Warman sets Crawford right, Allen Pitts wide left. And he throws over the middle, and it's no good. Intended for Sean Beals, who was open. But the pass, like the first one, was a little bit high.
Well, that's the type of thing. You have to catch those passes, especially when you're down deep in your own end and you're trying to work a little bit better field position. In both plays now, the Stampeders have run a little play action, trying to bring Tank Landry, Willie Pless, those linebackers, Alondra Johnson, get them to step up and throw the ball in behind them.
Brent Maddich, the best punting average in the CFL, 43.9 yards a kick. A couple of yards in his end zone, good snap. He has time. Low kick, he'll get a bounce out of it. And it's fielded on the run by Jefferson. He's to the 40, the 30, and run out of bounds at the 21-yard line of the Calgary Stampeders. So Doug Flutie in the BC offense will have unexpectedly good field position. A 24-yard return by Norm Jefferson on the Maddich punt.
I think Doug Flutie's playing a lot better lately than he had. He had a spot in the season there where he was struggling. His problem was he had too much success early in the year, hit a period there where he wasn't having as much success, got frustrated, now he's on his way back.
Bob Obilovich, very high on Doug Flutie, will tailor his offense to what Flutie does best, and one of those things is he runs well. Flutie's pass over the middle, and it's complete to Christensen. He's to the 15, to the 10-yard line, and down near the 7. We talked with Doug Flutie before the game and asked him if he sees an optimistic future for the Lions.
You really can. We've turned things around a little bit the last few weeks. We've played much better football. We've still come up short the last 2 weeks and lost some games that we felt got away from us. But we're playing more consistent and more enthusiastic football.
And that enthusiasm has the Lions a first down inside the Calgary 10 at the 9-yard line. Flutie will look into the end zone left, come back to the middle, and throws complete for a touchdown. Ray Alexander.
That was a tremendous job by Ray Alexander that time, and he had a great week last week. The thing that I think all his teammates appreciate about this is the fact that down there you're close, you're in tight, there's a lot of traffic, you know you're going to get hit, and he shows the tenacity to hang on to the football. He's a tough receiver.
And he did get hit hard. 9th touchdown of the year for Alexander. There's a look at Tony Hunter. Hunter, the other wide receiver, but Alexander's over 1,000 yards. He's had a big year for the BC Lions, one of the bright spots in a very long year with BC. The convert is good, and the Lions quickly in front, 7-0 at McMahon Stadium.
Lions 7, Calgary Stampeders nothing. And now introducing the latest winning programs.
Hamilton had a 24-6 lead at one stage in Ottawa, but Ottawa's come back to lead the Ticats by 3, less than 5 minutes to go at Lansdowne Park. Here at McMahon, the BC Lions are out in front of the Stampeders, 7-0. And here's Crawford with a kickoff return, spinning away from 2 or 3 lines and finally down at the 40-yard line.
It's a good start for Doug Flutie and the BC Lions, who don't put up a lot of points early in the first quarter as a rule. It's a good start for them. And the thing I appreciate about Doug Flutie, he probably has more ways to celebrate a touchdown than any other quarterback in the league.
That's his 12th touchdown pass of the season. He's thrown 17 interceptions. Now Rick Warman and the Stampeders with their second possession of the game, and they'll start this one from their 40-yard line. The last one began at their 13. Landry has Warman sacked back at the 30-yard line.
Rick Warman.
Doug Landry, an impact, if erratic player, makes an impact play.
He certainly does on this play, Bob. They know that Rick Warman is not going to do the things that Terrence Jones or Danny Barrett do. So the Calgary offense really has to make sure they have their blocking assignments down cold. They got to give him, Warman, a little more time than the other quarterbacks might require.
It's a 9-yard loss, 2nd and 19. Stampeders at their 31-yard line. 3 receivers to the right for Warman. Here comes pressure again, and once again he is sacked, this time back at his 20-yard line. Alondra Johnson and Willie Pless were in on it. 2 more blitzing linebackers.
What they're doing right now, Bob, is that the BC Lions are doing an effective job of moving their people around. They're changing their halfbacks around. They're moving their linebackers. Pless, who normally lines up, on the outside, was over the middle that time and just came. And right now, they've got some confusion on the Stampeders side of the ball.
Taking advantage, too, of Rick Warman's lack of mobility by really going after him. Brett Maddich, good kick on 3rd and 27. Tony Hunter at the 40-yard line. Hunter across the 50. And down at the 52, maybe the 53. Tony Spallettini down there to make the tackle for the Stampeders. Tony Hunter has been on the circuit this year. Edmonton, Winnipeg, Calgary, now BC. That was a 46-yard punt and a 12-yard return.
I think the thing with Tony Hunter was, again, I'm not just a return guy. I want a chance to play wide receiver. Bob Vilovich is impressed with Tony Hunter's hands. He didn't realize that he had that good of hands.
Big move by the Lions this week, trading Larry Willis to the Edmonton Eskimos for Darryl Colbert in future considerations. Colbert not playing today. BC from its 52. Flutie, play action, sprints left. Throws over the middle, has a man wide open. It's Christensen at the 45-yard line. And that'll be a first down. Doug Flutie working at quarterback with Lorenzo Graham and Chris Skinner. His receiving core. Christensen and Carinci, the slot backs. Alexander and Tony Hunter in his 5th game with BC. And the offensive line, Ian Sinclair, has not missed a game since he joined the Lions 6 years ago. BC at the Calgary 45. The Lions lead 7-0. Just over 4 minutes into the first quarter. Long count, handoff, Skinner left side, lots of room. Skinner to the 30, the 25, and all the way down to about the 21-yard line of the Stampeders.
Big play that time for the Lions. Now the person on that has to make that play, or really on the spot, is Matt Finley. Now he gets too far upfield, loses his proper tackling position, and consequently Skinner runs by him, and Finley barely gets a hand on him.
Stampeders don't look sharp on offense or defense. The BC Lions do. They are 1st and 10 at the Stampeder 21-yard line. Flutie, that pitch screen to Tony Hunter. He's to the 15, the 10, the 5, touchdown.
Tony Hunter complete for a touchdown, gain 21 yards on the play.
Well, we haven't played 5 minutes, and Wally Buono sees his team trailing by 13, and in a minute it'll be 14.
This is one of those plays, Bob, that really every team in the league runs his play, what they call a little hitch pass. You get all the other receivers and backs out in front, provide a lot of blocking, and Tony Hunter just does a good job of getting in behind those blockers and heading outside for the breaking the containment for the end zone. 2nd
touchdown of the year for Hunter with the Lions. The first one was scored on a kick return. Tony Martino for injured Louis Pasaglia adds the convert, and it's 14-0 BC. You're watching Molson Canadian Football Network.
All fans having your football and
10 minutes, 5 seconds left in the first quarter. The BC Lions just put their 2nd touchdown drive together. 3 plays, 58 yards. They lead 14-0 as Hopkins returns the kickoff to the Stampeder 47-yard line.
Pretty happy BC Lions there, and why not? Now the middle of your screen there, that's Jay Christensen. He's a good receiver, but at 6'4", 215, you know he's a lot bigger than David McCrary, who's only 170 pounds. He throws him back and helps to get the touchdown. And Doug Flutie once again showing us a little hop skip on celebrating that touchdown that time.
Rick Warman and the Stampeders, 3rd time with a football in the game. They'll try a running play this time, and it's Tony Cherry who started his CFL career in BC. And he's to the 51 of the Stampeders for a gain of 5 yards.
The ball carrier, gain of 5 yards.
Cherry began this season with the Ottawa Rough Riders, signed as a free agent, released by them, playing his 3rd game now with Calgary.
The thing with the Stampeders right now is that this is an important game for them. I mean, their first place is virtually on the line, and they've come out very lackadaisical.
Yeah, it's not raining.
Well, you'd wonder why a team would do that in a game of this significance. Second down for the Stampeders. About 4.5 to go from their 51. Warman to throw, and it's behind the intended receiver, Crawford, Derek Crawford. So once again, the Stampeders are 2 and out on offense. Third time in the game, and they'll have to punt it away.
Once again, there's no consistency there. They haven't put a couple plays together to get that feeling of confidence. And I watch Wally Buono on the sidelines. He's pacing up and down like a caged lion. He's very upset.
Doesn't want to use Danny Barrett today. I wonder if circumstance might lead him to do that.
It may do. He needs a sparker out there right now.
I don't think he'll be thinking about that this early.
46-yard punt.
Tony Hunter returning that punt up to the 20-yard line. We talked with Bob Obilovich for his thoughts on his club after 4 weeks in Vancouver.
I think our biggest concern has been the kicking game, as far as more consistency with our kicker and punter, and the defense overall. The defense played very well in Hamilton, and we had a bunch of new guys in the lineup. One of the fellas that was playing well on defense that we put in that initial game, Wayne Dixon, got hurt on the play that Austin got knocked out of the game in Saskatchewan, and we're hoping that his insertion back into the lineup today will help us up front along with Tony Simmons, because Derek McCready's out of there. But that's the only area that I really have a lot of concern about right now. Of course, it's an important area, and or areas, the two, meaning Tony Martino's going to get a chance to kick field goals and punt today, and we'll see how he does as a young fella, and he's done some before in the past for this team, and I hope he can do a capable job.
BC Lions have struggled on defense. They've given up 505 points this year. Obilovich talking about that. But they haven't given up any this afternoon yet at McMahon. 8:50 left first quarter. And it's 14.
I don't think either team has headsets right now, Bob. They're both out. So if one side goes out, the other coaches have to take theirs off too. Otherwise, it's an unfair advantage.
14-0, the Lions in front. So there'll be no communication for a while from up in the spotter's booth to the bench. 2nd and 3, Lions. Flutie hands off up the middle. But Lorenzo Graham finds very little room, and he will be about 2 yards away from a first down, and that will likely prompt a BC punt.
They call him the Warrior. Kent Warnock at 6'7", about 255 pounds. Is really having a tremendous year, and every year he's been in the league, he's improved. When he came in the league, I thought that he was really more of a plodding type of lineman. It wouldn't be spectacular, but since he's lost 20 pounds, he's really improved his play tremendously.
Probably their best defensive player this season, Kent Warnock. 3rd down and a couple, Lions at their 28. Tony Martino for injured Lou Pasaglia punting. A pretty good kick, has a little wind with him. And Crawford returns it up near center field. 8:03 left in the opening quarter. The Lions lead by 14. Calgary Stampeders field position has got progressively better each time they've had the ball. They're at center field with this position, and they're down 14-0. Just under 8 minutes to go in the opening quarter at McMahon Stadium. Rick Warman throws and completes to Crawford at the 50. And he can't find much room to move it downfield, so he has a gain of about 5 yards. Rick Warman quarterbacking today with Tony Cherry and Canadian Andy McVeigh in the backfield. The receiving core, Alan Pitts, a rookie with an outstanding year going, 880 yards. Sapunjas, also a rookie receiver. Beals as well. And the offensive line, Lloyd Fairbanks playing his 236th game in the CFL today to tie Louis Pasaglia, who's not playing, for 3rd on the all-time list. 2nd and 5. Warman throws, has a man open down to the 38-yard line. It's a first down. Alan Pitts on the receiving end, his first catch of the game. And that's the first down for the Stampeders.
It is, and I guess my concern would be if I came into a season with 4 rookie receivers, would be that do these guys know where they're going? But all these young guys have been working with assistant coach Jeff Tedford, and he spent a lot of hours with them, try to get them to know exactly where they're supposed to be on the field, and they've done a pretty good job for a young crew.
They're at the BC 38 with a 1st and 10. Rick Warman throws over the middle, but Landry was there to get a hand out and knock it away from Marshall Toner. We asked Tony Cherry how he feels about returning to McMahon Stadium and playing against his old team.
Well, it's just fun, and I'm happy to be playing the CFL at all. You know, playing the Lions, there's no resentment at all because Larry Herrick's gone, Joe Cap's gone. That's where I really wanted to show that I should have still been there. So it's just good to see the old fellas, only 8 people left from our team that we had, and Larry Herrick and Joe Cap pretty much shipped everybody out. So I'm just happy to be playing.
Tony Cherry of the Stampeders against the team he started his CFL career with, the BC Lions. Rick Warman throws, and a catchable football goes through the hands of Marshall Toner at the BC 18-yard line. So Rick Warman seems to be finding his form a little more, Nick, but hurt there by a drop.
Well, he escaped to his outside, had lots of time, lots of good vision down the field to see, pick out his receiver. And again, it's a little surprising because Marshall Toner is a very sure-handed receiver. Mind you, had to go up a bit, but you're a professional. You should make those catches.
Mark McLaughlin into the game. He'll attempt a 45-yard field goal. McLaughlin has had trouble from this distance this year. That one is up, and it's wide to the right. It'll go for a single point as Tony Hunter catches it in the end zone. And so the Stamps have scored, but not what they wanted. It's now 14-1 BC with 5:56 left in the first quarter. McLaughlin has missed 9 of 23 field goal tries from between the 40 and the 49-yard line.
Regular season home game, Fan Appreciation Day, Sunday, November 4th. Versus the Edmonton Eskimos.
So the BC Lions will have the ball again. Doug Flutie has already thrown 2 touchdown passes in this game to Ray Alexander and Tony Hunter. And he'll try to put a third scoring drive together.
I don't think he's thrown maybe about 1 drop-back pass so far in the game, Bob. He's been rolling out a lot.
And Bob Abilovich says he's not going to throw a lot of drop-back passes. That's not what he does best. He's on the move this time. Boy, he can run. Flutie to the 45, the 50, and out of bounds, close to the 50 of the Lions, and that'll be a first down.
Now, right there is the thing that bothers Wally Guano. He says, don't let this guy get out of bounds. Keep him on the field, punish him when he tries to run, and rattle him a little bit.
Calgary defensive line, those 4 men have been there all season long, and they played very well. Clausey, the rookie middle linebacker, we've talked a lot about him having a terrific year. Finley and Henry Smith in his 3rd start outside. And the secondary, Greg Peterson, has really come on. 2 interceptions last week in a win over Saskatchewan. 1st and 10 Lions at their 49-yard line. Flutie in the pocket and gets the ball away, throwing it out of bounds as he felt some pressure. That's the first incompletion of the day for Doug Flutie. He's now 5 out of 6. Hamilton Ticats have gone ahead of Ottawa. Mike Kerrigan to Earl Winfield, a 4-point lead for Hamilton. Very late in the game, and in Saskatchewan, the Rough Riders lead Edmonton 6-0 in the first quarter. And here at McMahon, it's BC 14, Calgary 1, Bob Irving and Nick Westaya. 4 minutes, 50 seconds left in the first quarter. Lorenzo Graham on a draw play. Good yardage across the 50 to the 49 into Stampeder territory.
I think the Lions felt that they were going to have pretty good success today running against the Stampeders, especially this play, this little drop play. They'll bring one of their offensive tackles to block down on Joe Clausey, the middle linebacker of the Stampeders. Clausey, because he is a rookie, plays off the ball a little bit deeper. Consequently, you can get to him maybe a little easier than you can a guy like Tank Landry.
The big offensive line of the BC Lions in position. Doug Flutie in the pocket, and he throws for Alexander. Diving catch at the Stampeder 22-yard line, and once again, the Lions penetrate deep into Calgary territory.
Well, he's one of these, he seems to be one of these guys that more and more Doug Flutie is going to rely on. He's had a good year. Last week he had 119 yards in receptions. He seems to make those tough catches for you and instills confidence in the quarterback. I'll go to this guy. He'll catch it. He'll make sure it's caught when he gets hit. Then he'll go to the ground for a ball.
28-yard gain that time as Doug Flutie having a great afternoon so far from the Calgary 21-yard line. 1st and 10. And Flutie not quite sure what to do with it. He'll finally throw it into the end zone intended for Jane Carinci, but it's way beyond his reach as Doug Flutie once again, I think, just got rid of it. Bob Abilovich, 8 years as head coach of the Argos. Successful years with the exception of last season when he was let go after a 7-11 record. And now in charge of things at BC. A lot of negatives to taking over a team in mid-season or late in the season, Nick, but there are some positives too, and that is you get to know the personnel and you can get set for the following year, and that's what Obilovic is looking forward to. Flutie on 2nd and 10. He's going to run with it. The 15, the 10, the 5, out of bounds at the Stampeder 5-yard line. You know, his speed must be deceiving to some of those players on defense, because it looks to me like they underestimate how fast he is sometimes.
Well, that's precisely it, Bob, because they don't think that he's really that fast. Maybe not even so much as fast as he's just quick. When he knows he's in trouble, he's quick to get out of bounds and basically save his hide.
Well, he avoided the hit, picked up the first down. It's 1st and goal to go. Lions at the Calgary 5. BC already leading 14-1 and on the verge of getting more. Flutie hands off Lorenzo Graham. Touchdown.
Gain of 5 yards in a BC Lions touchdown.
BC Lions seem to have come in here very relaxed right now, and you see how deep that Joe Clausey, the middle linebacker, is playing in this situation, and he probably should be up a little bit tighter, especially when they're that close to the goal line. That means he could take the blocker on that much sooner and try and make the play. But he's basically standing on the goal line. Even if he makes contact on the goal line, chances are he's going to get knocked back into the end zone.
Tony Martino will try to kick his 3rd convert of the afternoon, and he does. And with 2 minutes 42 seconds left in the first quarter at McMahon Stadium, the BC Lions have stunned the Stampeders and lead them 21-1.
Well, the fact that Flutie's been able to roll out with the football has created these running types of opportunities. That defense starts to bail out of there chasing Flutie, then he just counters back with the ball to Graham, and touchdown.
Meanwhile, at Lansdowne Park in Ottawa, the game is over, and the Hamilton Ticats have won their 2nd in a row. They've moved 2 points ahead of Ottawa in the race for 3rd in the East, beating the Eastern Riders 37-33. One of highlights of that game at halftime, they had a big crowd at Lansdowne Park, and the Ottawa Rough Riders, the team that won that game, certainly had the upper hand and does have the upper hand in the East in the race for 3rd, and that's now Hamilton.
David Beckman is 2-1, and when he got the job, everybody's first question was, who?
Well, they've responded. Martino kicks off. The Stampeders need to respond now before they get out of this game totally. Here's Hopkins returning the kickoff. Ron Hopkins. He's gone.
Ronnie Hopkins, 96 yards. The kickoff return for a touchdown. And sets the new Canadian Football League record.
I guess it doesn't matter where you get your inspiration from, because offensively and defensively things haven't been going well. But there's also the third part to any team, and that's the special teams play. Wally Buono really emphasizes good special teams play. You can see why. Now they've got a little bit of enthusiasm. I'm sure the sidelines are a lot more excited right now. They're going to be back in this football game.
What a year Hopkins has had returning kicks. He returned one 128 yards, a wide field goal against Winnipeg, and now a 96-yard kickoff return, 95-yard return. And the Stampeders have gotten the shot in the arm that they were in desperate need of, and they got it from 29-year-old, 8-year veteran Ron Hopkins. And they've been doing this in Calgary for as long as anybody can remember, when the Stampeders score a touchdown.
You get another look at this Ron Hopkins. He had lots of room here to head it up the field before any of the defenders got down there. Just tremendous blocking, and all they're trying to do is clear the sideline there, either turn your man out or turn him in and give him a lane that he can see and head straight down the field. He didn't really have to make a heck of a lot of moves that time. More than anything, it was just north-south.
Just had to use the speed, and he has ample quantities of that.
Come on, baby! And you get the feeling that the team was waiting for somebody to do something and take charge, and that can be death to a team, because you're the one that's supposed to take it upon your own shoulders, to every player, that is, make things happen. Ron Hopkins has done that there. Now I'd be interested to see how the tempo of this goes from here on, the game goes from here on in.
There's Lloyd Fairbanks, who we talked about earlier, playing in his 236th game today to tie Lou Pasaglia, who's not playing, for 3rd in the all-time list of games played.
Yeah, I just thought about this, and Lloyd Lloyd Fairbanks started in the CFL in 1975. His teammate, Dave Sapungis, was 8 years old and in grade 3.
Well, Fairbanks is 37. He is just about old enough to be the fathers of some of these guys. Drawhorn has a lot of problems with that kickoff and is able to maintain possession of it at the BC 31-yard line. You just know how Bob Obilovich feels about that kickoff return, because one thing he always preached was good special teams.
And he said, I'm more impressed with the special teams play now since I've gotten here, but he's not relaxed, and how you can tell, let's see how those arms are folded across his chest there. That body language tells you that he's starting to let it get a little bit antsy.
Well, the Lions still lead 21-8. 2:20 left first quarter. Doug Flutie's had a good day thus far. First and 10, Lions at their 32-yard line. Flutie hits screen. Tony Hunter has the ball in his hands. Look out. He's up to the 44. First down for BC, a gain of 12 yards. The Wiz teamed with the Giz in Edmonton last year.
Final score.
You can see from that shot there that basically there's nobody behind Doug Flutie. They're spreading everybody out, trying to get him in front of Hunter. The same thing that you saw earlier in the game. Get extra blockers out in front, and all he needs is a crease and might make something out of a little short pass like that.
Actually, the Wiz didn't team with the Giz last year in Edmonton, but the two of them in back-to-back seasons gave the Eskimos dynamite returns. Hunter's had a little trouble finding a job this year, but looks like he's settled in BC. Flutie throws, and it's no good. Intended for Bedford, and that was a very catchable football. Brian Bedford, a player who Bob Obilovich had in Toronto for 4 games last season.
Bob Obilovich was really anxious to have Bedford in there because he's a tall guy at 6'4". He's got legitimate wide receiver speed. He wants him in at the slot back position, running down the middle of the field. Once again, keep that secondary, the Stampeders, honest so they don't key on the wide receivers too much.
Second and 10, Lions at their 44-yard line. 1:05 left in the first quarter. Flutie, big pressure, gets away, throws. Carinci diving. Can't make the catch at the Calgary 50, but good work by Doug Flutie to get that pass away.
We've talked about Kent Warnock already in the game, and he's the man that gets in there, and he's got a long reach. And Doug Flutie is learning that in order to escape pressure, rather than trying to run laterally to escape pressure, I've got to learn to step up, let those offensive linemen push the guys past me, step up, and then my field of vision is clear. I can still throw the ball down the field.
24-year-old Tony Martino kicking because of the injury last week to Lou Pasaglia. It's a low snap. Martino scoops it up and gets the kickoff. Not a bad one. Crawford at the Stampeder 23-yard line, and he immediately falls down and is hit pretty hard as a result of it. BC defensive line, Simmons and Dixon, relatively new faces. Dixon in his 3rd game, Simmons his 1st. Landry, Pless, and Johnson, the linebackers. Will Landry be with the Lions next year? Will he be with them next week? Nobody knows. And the secondary, Drawhorn, returns. He was cut back in August by Larry Kuharich and brought back by Bob Obilovich. Stampeders at their 23-yard line. Warman completes it up to the 29. To Derek Crawford. He's been very anxious to get the ball in the hands of Derek Crawford today, and why not?
Certainly, the same thing. If it's a one-on-one situation, Crawford can make this guy miss, turn a little 5-yard pass into a big gain.
They gain close to 7 on the play. We'll call it 2nd and 3. Stampeders from their 30-yard line. This will be the last play of the opening quarter if we don't have a penalty. Warman, quick pass. McVeigh's open at the 30. Andy McVeigh now goes upfield and gets the first down close to the Stampeder 35. So the Stamps have come to life. They're down by 13, but they were down by 20 at one stage.
Willie Pless.
The BC Lions are headed for their worst season since 1968 when they were 4-11-1, but they have the Calgary Stampeders down 21-8 as the second quarter begins at McMahon Stadium with the Stamps at their 35-yard line with a 1st and 10. Warman over the middle, and Pitts drops the football. We've seen at least 2, maybe 3 or 4 catchable passes dropped already today.
Well, once again, that inconsistency in catching the ball just kills drives. Now, these guys are running good patterns. BC Lions are coming up on the wide receivers, trying to knock them off their routes. They're managing to escape and run over and finding the soft spot in that zone. That part's fine, but just catch the football.
Stampeders, 2nd and 10 at their 35-yard line. Warman to Cherry coming out of the backfield, but he is hit hard and brought by Willie Pless at the 42. He'll have a gain of maybe 6-7 yards, but not enough for the first down. 5'7" Tony Cherry. And Willie Pless, one of the players on the Lions who through this long, tough season has stood out 4th in the CFL in tackles with 79. Consistent game in and game out. Brent Maddox will have a little bit of wind with him now as he kicks in the 2nd quarter. Doesn't hit it very well. Gets a Calgary bounce down to the Lion 27-yard line. Tony Hunter, no room at all, throwing out of bounds. We're just over a minute into the 2nd quarter. The Lions lead by 13.
No return on the play. And Darcy Landon.
Brad McMahon Stadium in Calgary, the Lions lead the Stampeders 21-8. BC with the football again after a 41-yard punt by Brent Maddox. 1st and 10 from their 25-yard line. Flutie. Those quick moves. And down he goes at the 29-yard line. Thurman made the stop. Flutie picks up 3, maybe 4 yards. Junior Thurman stopped him. The Lions have been productive 3 out of 5 times they've had the ball. They've scored a touchdown. That's a good success ratio. Pretty good field position, though, each time they got it. If you call the other team's 21, pretty good.
Not bad.
Sensational. 2nd and 6. Lions at their 29-yard line. Flutie hands off Lorenzo Graham. And after a bit of a hesitation, he found a big hole out to the 47 of BC for a first down.
To Alonzo Graham, a gain of
We see how that scrambling of Doug Flutie sets up the running game, and it's complementing it so well.
Tackled by Darrell Hall.
Most of their people are over to the right side, and all they do is they counter back. They pull one of the linemen to hit the end guy on the line of scrimmage, and it just forms a natural cavity.
That was a 16-yard gain for Lorenzo Graham with Calgary last year. Now from the 46-yard line, Flutie wants to throw deep and does to Tony Hunter, but he overthrows him deep in Calgary territory.
Tony Hunter, covered by
Doug Flutie from Boston College.
Incomplete. 2nd down line.
Sensational college career, remembered for one play in particular, and will always be remembered for one play in particular, no matter what else he does.
And I'm sure that at times bothers him because he wants to be considered a legitimate quarterback. So far, I'm impressed with his play calling at this point in the game. He's mixed it up really well, tried to use everybody, move the ball around well.
Clarkson, Romano, Sinclair, Groenwagen, and Mills, the 5 linemen, will give Flutie the time he wants and needs. Once again, Flutie is flushed, but that's when he gets real dangerous. He's waiting for somebody to come back to the ball. Look at him. And he has close to a first down into Calgary territory. And he took a good hard blow on that run, but what a little bit of magic by Doug Flutie.
At the end there, you saw him coming up limping. I'm sure Bob Bilovich doesn't want that to happen. And he put his head down and he looked, I want to get outside first and then look over the situation. And you're right, Bob. Those receivers have to come back or find an empty spot where they can present themselves and let him see them. Flutie finally says, I'll do it myself. Bob Bilovich says, don't take that away from Doug Flutie. Let him do that. It'll make him more effective.
Well, it makes him, he has to do that, but he can't take a lot of blows like that, I don't think, and survive many games because he is small. He was back there in the pocket for something like 11 seconds before he finally took off and ran. Here's a handoff to Lorenzo Graham on first down from the Stampeder 53, and he's stopped by Will Johnson after a gain of a yard.
Well, the Stampeders defensive line, they're 2nd in the league with 40 sacks heading into this game. And, you know, their forte is really to push that pocket in around the quarterback And especially with a guy like Flutie, you've got a guy like Warnock in his face at 6'7". He's not going to be able to see where he wants to throw the ball, so they've got to move him around and get him outside.
Warnock has 11 sacks, and Will Johnson, the end on his side, has 13. 2nd and 9 Lions. Flutie out of the shotgun at the Calgary 52. Well, Flutie's in trouble now, but he'll use his speed to try and get out of it. He finally throws. Graham's wide open at the 40 to the 35 and into the 34 of the Stampeders, and Flutie is doing a number on the Stamps with his quickness and escape talents.
Well, if a quarterback can get 3 seconds, he's usually pretty lucky. And in the last couple of plays, look at the time that Flutie's buying for himself. And those Calgary defenders, I mean, this is worse than running wind sprints after practice. You give them a steady diet of this kind of stuff, and by the third quarter, they're going to be exhausted.
Well, you might think Flutie's tired, and I'm sure he is, but what about the men up front, the 7 men up front for Calgary, or the 4 or 5 who are trying to get him?
Well, sure, it's one thing when you're 170 pounds and running out there, but you're looking at guys at 250, 60, 70, and maybe more. Well, that's got to be exhausting.
They'll have to delay the game while everybody catches their breath. 10.5 minutes left in the second quarter. BC had 21-8.
I guess for the Stampeders, the only thing that they can be happy about right now is that this game isn't in July.
Yeah. Flutie says, I'm a pretty good runner, but I haven't had that much room to roam for a while. This wide CFL field, he can really make it work. Molson and CFN proud to bring you the best of Canadian football.
We call the timeout.
At Taylor Field in Regina, Saskatchewan still leading Edmonton 6-0. They're now in the second quarter. We're in the second at McMahon Stadium. 10.5 minutes left. BC at the Stampeder 35 with a 1st and 10. Lorenzo Graham carries and gets a couple, and that's it. Finley was in on the stop along with Mitchell Price.
Matt Finley's second on the Stampeder club. Going in this game, he had 56 tackles, and out of Eastern Michigan University, 5 years in the league, and he's a pretty steady guy. Once again, not one of these headline guys, but what Wally Buono calls one of his fine print players. Just goes out there and does a job, no fanfare.
2nd and 9 Lions, Stampeder 33. What'll Flutie do this time? He'll just throw it. And it's incomplete down at the 10-yard line. Ray Alexander, the intended receiver, and that looked like a very catchable football.
I guess Ray Alexander, obviously indications are he felt he should have had that. And you see him get that outside release that time, avoids being bumped or hit. And you probably should have had that ball, because David McCrary's not going to get over there in time, really, to knock that ball away. He's a little frustrated with himself, obviously. He knows he should have had it.
Balloon dimension flight and great group safety.
So to leave the Lions in a third down situation at the Calgary 33, and have another injured Stampeder. 9:48 now left in the second quarter. Stampeders have been very good here at McMahon Stadium this season, 6-1, playing at home, but a tough start this afternoon as they trail 21-8, and we're down 21-1 in the first quarter. Next week on CFN, we hope you'll join us for the Hall of Fame game in Hamilton at Ivor Wynne Stadium. The Stampeders will be there, and that will be once again a critical game for both teams. The Ticats a big win today in Ottawa to move 2 points ahead of Ottawa in the race for third in the East. Calgary at Hamilton next Sunday on CFN, the annual Hall of Fame weekend in Hamilton. Wally Buono, in his first year as head coach of the Stampeders, fairly happy with the way things have gone. He's had some injury problems at the quarterback position that have, I guess, maybe disrupted things, Nick, for him.
Well, those things happen, I guess, with every team, and as you hope that you have capable backups that can step in and do a job, and Rick Warman's done that for him.
Bob Swift, Bill Bradley, John Huffnagel, Tom Higgins, and Jeff Tedford, the 5 assistant coaches who work with Wally Buono. Bob Obilovich now in his 4th game as head coach of the BC Lions. Bob Hefner, Jerry Keeling, Chief Kuharchik, Jim Taubert, and Bob Vespasiani, former head coach with Calgary. Jerry Keeling will be honored at halftime today. His name will be added to the Stampeders Wall of Fame, along with that of Sugarfoot Anderson. Keeling played for the Stampeders from 61 to 72 as a quarterback and defensive back.
Ride and Save with Calgary Transit.
He was in on their Grey Cup win in 1971, the last time they won the Grey Cup. And there you see some other illustrious names from the Stampeder past on the Wall of Fame. Jim Sugarfoot Anderson played from 49 to 54 with Calgary. He's now 70 years of age, still lives here. And he and Jerry Keeling will be saluted at halftime. Tony Martino will attempt a 40-yard field goal. 4 for 4 on the season. And he's wide left. Seemed to hook it a bit, and the wind did the rest. And Ron Hopkins will concede the single point. Give the Stampeders
41-yard
the ball out at the 35, so it's 22-8 for the BC Lions now with 9:26 left in the second quarter. Last night on CFN, our Molson MVP as the Blue Bombers clinched first place in Toronto was Winnipeg linebacker Albert Williams. He was in on 3 quarterback sacks as Winnipeg's defense came up with another terrific game.
They certainly have. They've been playing very well, and I guess the big chore right now is just for Mike Riley to make sure keep his men motivated week after week, because they've set out to clinch first place, and they've done that. Lots of football left in the season, though.
Stampeders from their 35-yard line. Warman hands off to Cherry, and he's stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Alondra Johnson makes the tackle on Tony Cherry.
The Lions right now are bringing up a lot of their linebackers. You see Tank Landry coming up right into the line of scrimmage, and what they're doing is they're basically plugging or filling all the gaps, really not giving them any place to run.
Oh, shoot, make something happen.
The linebackers are the strength of the BC defense. As Warman throws on second down and completes it up to the 47-yard line. Crawford, and that's a gain of 12, maybe 13, a Calgary first down.
Crawford covered by Chris
This is really up until this point, it seems like they hadn't had much generated, and maybe now a couple of plays in a row here put something together, they'll start to get a little momentum going.
Stampeders 7th in the CFL in average yards offense per game this year. They have not had a very productive offense, part of that due to their injuries at the quarterback position. Cherry carries on first down and gains a yard. As a matter of fact, if you looked at the statistics for the Stampeders, you'd wonder how they're 8-5-1.
Well, one thing about the Stampeders have an older offensive line. Now, these guys are very adept at pass blocking. I think, though, as a player gets older, it's a little bit tougher for him to drive block. One reason is a drive block is for young, strong, bull-type players. That's not the Stampeders' offensive line.
Warman goes long on 2nd and 9, and it's incomplete. Chris Major collided with Derek Crawford downfield. The fans here wanted an interference call, but didn't get one from the officials. And so the Stampeders will have to punt. Crawford having a huge season, 11 touchdowns and almost 2,000 yards in combined yards.
See, right now they're fairly predictable, trying to run on first down and throwing on second down. They've got to mix it up a little bit more, I think, put in a little more play action perhaps.
A look at Brent Maddich punting from the end zone. And Jefferson has it go over his head. Hunter way back to his 5-yard line to get it. Tony Hunter. And he's out to the 25, and is he ever dangerous? 7.5 minutes left, second quarter. It's 22-8 for BC. 6-0 Saskatchewan. It's now 8-6 Edmonton at Taylor Field in the second quarter here at McMahon. With 7.5 minutes left in the second quarter, BC leading Calgary 22-8. Lions from their 25, first down. Flutie throws, Tony Hunter, the pass low, and they say it bounced. It's incomplete.
Flutie's pass intended for Alexander, incomplete. Junior Thurman on the coverage for the Stamps.
I don't know. That's not a great second as
Bob Babilovich really pleased to be back doing what he does best and what he knows best and what he loves best, and that's coaching football.
He had enough of a rest, at least that's what he told me. And right now, I guess every game for them is like training camp, just evaluating players, getting ready for next year in some extent.
Second down and 10 from the 25 for the BC Lions. Flutie escapes the rush. He'll run, and he's brought down from behind at the 27-yard line. Good work to get him by Walter Ballard. Flutie gains 4 or 5, but does not get the first down. Tracy Ham to Michael Souls, the Edmonton touchdown at Taylor Field in Regina.
Well, there's no doubt that the linemen are going to be tired after this is all over. Now, Walter Ballard and Will Johnson both have the kind of speed that they can catch a Doug Flutie, and that's why they're playing those end positions. Henry Smith in that situation there had secondary responsibility. When Flutie escapes contain, he has to come up and try and make the play.
Flutie will test your conditioning. The question is, does he have the stamina to play like this all day? Martino's punt, and it bounces back as the wind grabbed it just a little bit. Stampeders mishandle it at the BC 51-yard line, but a no yards penalty will give the ball to Calgary regardless of who fell on it. A 23-yard punt. .626 left in the first half. And that's the first penalty of the game. Referee Bud Steen obviously having some problems with his microphone, but you can see that it's against the BC line. So the Calgary Stampeders are pretty good field position at the BC 47-yard line, down by 14 points. In a game that is so key for them, the Lions trying to keep their faint playoff hopes alive. Warman on first down from the 47. Lions show blitz. It's picked up. Warman gets it off and completes it to Toner to the 40 into the 39. Tackled by Ken Watson, but an 8-yard gain for Marshall Toner.
Second down, Stampeders.
BC Lions have been blitzing all day, and they did a pretty good job here of picking up the tank on the blitz. They're trying to send really more people than they have to block. And you saw Londra Johnson was released that time and really got in the face of the quarterback. Gorman does a good job just to release it with a man in his face.
2nd and 2. The handoff goes to Tony Cherry, and he is hit as he approached the line of scrimmage. Dietrich Wise got through there to make some contact. Cherry didn't get the first down, but he probably got within a yard of it.
You see, the BC Lions at Dixon, Simmons, and Wise in there, they're big, strong, young guys. Now, again, those offensive linemen of the Stampeders, I think of them more as finesse-type blockers. It's a little more difficult for them to knock these guys back. They should be doing maybe some more trap-type plays, a little more finesse-type things to get that yardage.
Wally Bono just has decided to send out his field goal team on 3rd down and just a little more than a yard. Mark McLaughlin, again, has not kicked as well from this range as he has in other years. Toner, the holder, a 46-yard attempt, a little wind with McLaughlin. No problem with the distance, and it's good. 5:05 left in the first half, and it's now an 11-point game. The Lions 22, and the Calgary Stampeders 11.
Reserve your seats for the 1990 Grey Cup game in Vancouver now with Dax Blue.
Today at halftime, we'll look at one of the most active linebackers in all of football.
Just like the quarterback make the big plays on offense, I like to make the big plays on defense.
Landry told some reporters here in Calgary yesterday he's retiring at the end of this season, and then when they suggested that what if you're with another team, he said, well, then maybe I'll reconsider. But he and Bob Obilovich were talking. That would be a hopeful sign for BC fans who would like to see Landry stay there. Flutie on first down has a man open and finds him up at the 45-yard line, and it's Jay Christensen, former Stampeder, who has really had an outstanding year for the Lions.
He's one of those pleasant surprises that Bob Obilovich talks about when he came to the BC Lions. He's really blossomed as a player. Tank's got a smile on his face. It can't be all grim, I guess.
Well, he's an interesting guy, the Tank, isn't he?
To say the least.
Said he had to drive Larry Willis to Edmonton on Thursday because Larry's his friend. Flutie keeps on 2nd and short yardage and gets the first down. I don't know, you should maybe clear it with the coach or GM before you do it, though. You would think that would be proper protocol.
Well, you've got to understand that when Tank Landry came with Larry Kuharich, he says he's my buddy, and maybe Larry Kuharich was willing to put up with some things that buddies put up with, whereas Bob Obilovich says, you know, I'm a no-nonsense guy, and we're a team, and I'm not going to do that kind of thing.
Obilovich traded Landry away from Toronto 2 years ago. He because they couldn't quite see eye to eye on a lot of things. Here's Flutie throwing to Graham on first down. He's across the 50 and to the 51. Finley
over the middle
makes the stop with help from Henry Smith.
Graham, gain of 4 yards on the play, tackled by Matt Finley and Henry Smith. Second down.
Well, they always make a big deal, I guess, about Doug Flutie's height, and anytime you're working behind guys such as Clarkson and Mills, who are at 6'8" and 6'9", and 6'4" and 6'5", he's pretty hard to see. Now, Rick Warman's got a little bit of a better opportunity to see over his line because he's 6'2".
Flutie is listed at 5'10". Some would say he's not that tall. His pass is incomplete, intended for Hunter, and they've thrown a flag. It'll be interference, I believe, against Ron Hopkins.
Flag on the play.
And that gives BC a first down. We have 2:57 left in the first half at McMahon Stadium. The Lions ahead by 11. The last 3 minutes of the second quarter at McMahon. The BC Lions first and 10 at the Stampeder 51-yard line after an interference penalty against Ron Hopkins. Flutie over the middle for Bedford, and he can't get to it at the 20-yard line. The BC Lions have 242 yards in total offense to 65 for Calgary. Stampeders have to feel fortunate to be only down 11, Nick.
Well, they do, and the interesting stat is Stampeders only have 7 yards rushing, and I honestly feel that they've got to up that production if they want to have success today.
Doug Flutie's had success, and he'll try to succeed on 2nd and 10 at the Stampeder 51-yard line. Straight back in the pocket is Flutie. It's a screen pass if he can get it away, but he had a problem getting it off as Mitchell Price put his hands in the air.
Pass intended for Chris Skinner, incomplete.
Well, once again, we're told, all defensive linemen are told, when you get in that situation, get your hands up, screen the quarterback so he can't see where he's throwing, and you don't want to talk all day and make a real big deal about Flutie's height, but there's a perfect example of him just trying to lob it over Mitchell Price and not getting it done.
So Tony Martino will punt on 3rd down and 10. The football at the 51.5 of the Stampeders. 2:38 left in the first half. And BC ahead 22-11. Bad snap to Martino, but again he gets it up and away. That's the second time he's had to scoop it up. Here's a reverse. It's Pee Wee Smith with the ball. There are flags down. Smith has Martino to beat, and he can't do it at the 33-yard line. There are penalty flags down as Pee Wee Smith and Crawford combine to bring the crowd at McMahon Stadium to life.
There are flags all over the field.
And it'll come back, the penalty against the Stampeders. But Wally Buono resorting to a little razzle-dazzle to try and, again, break his team out of its lethargy. As we read lips, the penalty was against number 92. That's Henry Smith, the linebacker.
Well, I don't know if Henry Smith was the only culprit on this play, because there were some other clips here. And again, it's a big turnaround. Instead of having it deep in the other end, look at, again, inside their own 25.
A 52-yard return by Pee Wee Smith is wiped out. The Stampeders are at their 15-yard line. There's a draw play to Andy McVeigh, and he's out close to the 30 for a first down.
Andy McVeigh picked up 14 yards on the play, tackled by Anthony.
Good play that time, and Andy McVeigh, again, a little bit of a finesse play. That's all a draw play really is. But you get good wide splits, let your man rush upfield, turn him outside, let the runner find a spot.
Hurry up offense. Rick Warman to the sideline. And a diving catch at the 47-yard line by Derek Crawford. Another Calgary first down. 2:05 left in the first half.
First down.
While the Stamps had 65 yards of total offense until this series. And they have moved it from their 15 up to the 47, so you can add 32 more. Warman hands off to Tony Cherry. And Cherry adds another 5 or 6 to the total to the 53 of the Stampeders.
Stampeders looking pretty good right now with this hurry-up offense, and it would be interesting to see if they came out in the second half and employed it at some other point in the game rather than with 3 minutes to go.
And they'll stay with it for now. Second down and about 3. Warman, lots of time, as a man open in the flat, gets it to McVeigh, and he's to the BC 52-yard line. Willie Pless and Jefferson make the stop. Very close to a first down. Probably has it. Gain on the play. Yes, he does. First down Calgary, a minute 49 left in the half.
Well, once again, you've got a team backing up like the Lions are doing right now into their prevent defense. Warman shows good patience. Just take again what they give you. Make the lines come up and make the play. If somebody misses, you might get a big gain.
Rick Warman again looking over the middle and throws, and a nice catch by Beals down at the 37-yard line.
They look very efficient right now, and again, Warman doing an excellent job of just mixing things up, trying to move the ball around, utilizing different people.
John Beals playing his 7th game. He spent the first 8 on the practice roster. As Rick Warman has it clicking on offense from the 37 of BC. Lots of time for Warman, who will take off, sort of, and get down to the 30 and maybe to the...
This drive, of course, is to score the touchdown. Good touch on the ball from Rick Warman that time. Doesn't really try to gun it in there. Just lays it over top of the receiver. Pitts makes the catch.
95-yard drive and very impressive. 8 plays. The 4th touchdown of the year for rookie Alan Pitts. And Rick Warman has his 6th touchdown pass. And the Stampeders are within 4 points.
Warman looks really cool out there. I'm very impressed with how he's controlled this. The rush hasn't really got to him, so he's not having to worry about a lot of guys in his face. But he's very judicious in choosing his receivers.
All right, baby, we gotta keep it going.
Running that offense the way it was designed to go.
The Lions all year, Nick, have had problems getting to the quarterback. They only have 23 sacks, fewest in the CFL, and we really saw it there. Not to take anything away from Calgary's offensive line, but BC all season long has been unable to get consistent pressure on opposition quarterbacks.
Well, that's, again, and that goes hand in hand with your secondary. Sometimes if the secondary has great coverage, the linemen will eventually get there. But in this case, the linemen weren't getting any pressure. Warman sat back there, looked really cool, just picked and choose, and his receivers had lots of time to get open.
46 seconds left in the first half. Bob Babilovich wondering what's going on, as his team only ahead now by 4, and they let nice return by Graham up to the 38-yard line with 39 seconds still to play in the half. Still time for the Lions to try and get in the field goal range if they so choose. A 30-yard return by Graham.
Peterson. First down, BC Lions.
Well, it's been a good, entertaining first half at McMahon Stadium. Doug Flutie has been a big part of the entertainment package with his scrambling. From the 38-yard line. Flutie drops back to pass. And throws a center screen. It's Chris Skinner, and he'll gain a yard, a difficult yard, as Warnick and Johnson were in on the stop.
It's really interesting to watch Flutie that time. He make sure he gets enough height over that defensive lineman. Just a nice little leap there and laid the ball out. Guy's a good athlete, there's no doubt about it. Just tremendous athletic ability. And he feels very comfortable with the things they're trying to do with him right now in the context of this offense.
2nd and 10 from the 38, and off to Graham as the Lions opt to stay conservative. Graham breaks a couple of tackles, and looks like he got a first down with 7 seconds left in the half, up to the BC 49-yard line.
Did a good job that time of dropping his shoulder every time the tackler came by, and just really gave him nothing to hit and turned his body and gave him the shoulder.
So the Lions will go without a huddle, but this will be the last play of the half, barring a penalty, because time has expired. Flutie is going to run the quarterback draw. I think he better run out of bounds and save himself the trouble. Matt Finley gives him a ride out of touch, and that play ends the opening half at McMahon. The Lions ahead of the Stampeders by 4.
A good football team is that when you have another team down, you put it to them. You close the coffin, as it were. That didn't happen, and the Stampeders are right back in it after they shook off their cobwebs.
They had a ceremony at halftime. Sugarfoot Anderson going up on the Wall of Fame at McMahon Stadium. His name along with that of Jerry Keeling, who helped the Stampeders win their last Grey Cup, 1971. Keeling now an assistant coach with the BC Lions. We kidded with him before the game about this, where he's being honored by Calgary and working with the BC Lions. What about the Stampeder offense? Can they pick up where they left off in that second quarter?
Well, I would hope so. They got their running game going a little bit towards the end of the first half there, and I think that's an important part of their success. And again, that Ron Hopkins return really started things going for them.
Doug Flutie, a red-hot start, cooled off a little bit. Still a good first half, no interceptions, 2 touchdowns. And Rick Warman, after a slow start, came on. Good numbers in that 95-yard drive in the last 2.5 minutes of the first half. And so we are set for the second half at McMahon Stadium. 22-14. The BC Lions leading the Calgary Stampeders. Lorenzo Graham had a very good first half. And Tony Cherry, not quite as good. Calgary had a hard time getting their ground game on track.
We also ask the fans, please.
And we'll see what happens with it in the second half as McLaughlin kicks off to Drawhorn at the 30-yard line. And he is walloped at the 35. The ball comes out and the Stampeders have it.
I get the impression, Bob, that Wally Buono had some pretty inspiring words to say at halftime, because you see the way they come out right away. You can tell how a team's going to perform by their special teams play. Terrific tackle there, knocking the ball loose, and a recovery, a momentum changer, and right away it's got to be a real positive thing for the Stampeders. Great field position. Again, add some excitement to their attack.
Laird made the hit that popped the ball loose. Tony Spallettini recovered it, and the Stampeders are at the BC 33. Here comes pressure, but Warman gets the ball away. Crawford, though, underthrown down near the BC goal line and tightly covered by Chris Major, but that play didn't work because of the pressure on Warman.
Well, he was getting, the pocket was closing in around him. He did hang in there pretty good, again, as a veteran quarterback should, to try to make sure that his receiver broke. Sometimes he doesn't have the opportunity to wait quite as long as he wants to. May throw the ball a little bit early, and then consequently you see what happens down the field. But the Lions are going to start bringing more people, more linebackers, again, trying to pressure Warman more, and they got to have it.
Stampeders from the BC 33, 2nd and 10, and the pass hits Pitts. I don't know if he was looking for it or not. It went over the head of another Calgary receiver further upfield, but it hit Pitts right in the numbers.
Well, their second half is starting off very much like the game started for them, and I don't know if Pitts was distracted by Drawhorn, but the only thing he should be concentrating on, obviously, is that football. And once they started catching the ball, they had success, but if they start doing this again, they're going to be in trouble.
5 or 6 flat-out drops we've seen this afternoon. McLaughlin tries a 40-yard field goal, and it's good, and it's now a 1-point football game with the BC Lions in front, 22-21. We're just underway in the second half. Mark McLaughlin kicked a 40-yard field goal for Calgary 59 seconds into the second half. And the Lion lead is down to a point as Tony Hunter is stopped by Dan Wicklum at the 41-yard line on the kickoff return.
Dan Wicklum started his career in Winnipeg, and I've always been impressed with his athletic ability. In fact, that he's probably one of the most aggressive guys on this football team. He does an excellent job of fighting off the blocker. Then you see him start to chop his feet, break down, get his body under control, make the tackle. And as long as he does that, he's going to be with this football team and with Wally Buono for a long time.
Bombers let Wicklum go in the equalization draft last year because of a knee injury they thought would shorten his career, but he's still playing and playing well for the Stampeders. Flutie sidearms it to Skinner, And he's up to the 47-yard line for a gain of 6 yards.
On the play.
That's interesting, word sidearms, because he does a lot of that type of throwing. Again, with the defender getting the hands up high in his face, it's difficult for him to complete the overhand motion. So he'll just throw it essentially around the defender to get it to the receiver.
We saw the good arm strength he has on that throw. He just kind of whipped it from the side and really got it there in a hurry. Second down and about 3, maybe 4. Graham carries, and he's across the 50, and we'll have a first down to the BC 52-yard line.
Gain of 5 yards on the play.
Teams come into the games against the Stampeders. I guess they feel that they can run against them because the Stamps really have been rushed against more times than any other team in the league. That's 367 times, and they're giving up on an average 153 yards a game. It's an awful lot for rushing.
Well, they've given up 1,000 more yards on the season than they've rolled up themselves on offense, and yet they're 3 games over 500. Flutie rifles it to Christensen, and he's close to the Stampeder 35-yard line.
Jay Christensen doesn't look too happy. Again, a nice big target with him in the game, and with Ray Alexander, he's got a couple guys at 6'4" that makes it easy for him to see down the field. Now, you mentioned earlier in the game, Bob, that Flutie, he's not a big guy. Not only is he short, but he's also very slight, and he can't have a guy like Warnock on top of him all game, otherwise he won't finish the game.
Christensen, a 23-yard gain. He's caught 4 for 58 yards today. Flags down as they give a draw play to Graham, and there was early movement. Jay Christensen has been a very pleasant surprise for the BC Lions. Played the last 4 years here in Calgary.
There's a flag on the ball.
He's caught 43 passes on the year now for 672 yards.
Illegal procedure, BC number 53. Penalty is declined. It's second down.
That's Leo Groenwagen.
Trying to get set up and get ready early, and probably because Kent Warnock beat him on the play before, he's a little bit antsy this time, and that's example of one bad play compounding into another bad play.
A Ridgeway field goal puts Saskatchewan back in front of Edmonton at Taylor Field, 9-8 in the third quarter. Flutie on second down and 9. Throws that sidearm ball again, and it's almost intercepted at the goal line by Junior Thurman, intended for Graham, and that time Flutie did not get much on the throw.
No, he didn't, and actually if he'd had gotten a better throw, it's very possible that this would have been a touchdown, because they had the kind of matchup that they wanted. They had Graham, Joe Clausey. You saw Clausey trying to cover him, and he's 4 or 5 yards back. What a great matchup. Of course, if that ball gets there in time, it's a touchdown, and it didn't happen.
So we'll see Tony Martino, who's 0 for 1 in the field goal department today.
Martino, a 41-yard.
It'll be a 41-yard effort. Has a little wind with him. Flutie puts it down. Not a good snap, but a good kick by Martino, and it's through there, and it's now 25-21 BC. You're watching Molson Canadian Football Network.
21.
11 minutes, 13 seconds left in the third quarter. Martino bounces the kickoff. It's picked up by McVeigh at the 35. A flag comes down, and McVeigh struggles up to the 47-yard line of the Calgary Stampeders.
7 yards. There is a flag on the play. John Stewart on the tackle for the Lions.
Illegal block. Calgary number 92 on the run back. Back 10 yards. First down.
See rookie offensive lineman of the BC Lions, Carl Coulter, coming out the field. Now, he's had some problems today with that snapping, and wouldn't be surprised to see the Stampeders come after one of these field goals or punts, because a couple times it's come back there on a hop.
University of Ottawa rookie Carl Coulter, who is trying to get those snaps up. Stampeders from their 26-yard line. This is Cherry. Tony Cherry with a 14-yard run.
Tony Cherry, the ball carrier, gain of 14 yards. Chris Major on the tackle. Stampeder.
Well, that's a little more of what the Stampeders wanted to get coming into this game, and this all happens because there's just an excellent block of Willie Pless, who really just cannot get rid of Kevin Paul until the running back has passed him. Pless is a pretty active guy, but sometimes he can get engulfed by those big offensive linemen.
Stamps from their 40, first and 10. Toss to Cherry the other way, and he won't escape the BC tacklers this time. Landry, Pless,
Cherry, the ball carrier.
Wetmore, and Drawhorn were all in the backfield to throw Cherry for a loss as Tank Landry comes up on the limp. Here are the players with the Stampeders now who were with BC, 5 of them. And the BC Lions who played for Calgary, and there's a longer list of them, 8. Jerry Keeling, of course, one of the assistant coaches with BC, could be added to that list. Rick Warman, pressure, but he gets the ball away well over the head of rookie Alan Pitts. And Doug Landry, who was hurt the play before, recovered rather quickly.
Pressured by Tank
He certainly
Landry.
did, and you can say what you want about Doug Landry. He's a tremendous football player, will play hurt. And Mike Palumbo's trying to what they call double read protection. Look at the linebacker over him and then slide outside to block the outside linebacker. The only thing is if he's going to come out, he has to come out at a more of a 45-degree angle, hit Landry and push him past the quarterback rather than just turning his shoulders and giving Landry that path or that angle to the quarterback.
And this is a familiar sight with Landry. He just gives you everything he has. He's not that big, and often is injured during games, but seldom is knocked out of games. He'll be hurt and then come back. He is a gamer.
I don't know, Bob. I saw him in an elevator at about 235 pounds. I thought he was pretty big for a middle linebacker. When he comes on the rush, he comes almost like a lineman. He's got good quickness.
He doesn't look that big, though. He doesn't look like 235, does he?
He did to me.
All right, join us for the Hall of Fame game in Hamilton next Sunday. Dave Hodge and Neil Lumsden will have the call as the Hamilton Ticats, with 2 wins under their belts under Dave Beckman, including a victory over Ottawa today, play these Calgary Stampeders 1:30 Eastern Time on the Canadian Football Network.
I guess perhaps something that you said, Bob, the guy is definitely a free spirit, and he's, unconstrained, maybe on and off the field, but the guy is extremely talented. There's no doubt about it.
Let's not quibble about his weight, Nick. He's a terrific player and a different individual. And I don't say that in a derogatory
There's
sense.
a lot of different individuals in professional football, guarantee it.
In the world. Here's Matic punting, and it's blocked. The Lions block it and have it at the Stampeder 24.
Jamie Terrace comes up with the football again, one of those kind of unsung guys that'll give you a lot of ability and a lot of hustle on special teams. Obviously a miscue in the blocking up front. One of those 2 upbacks is supposed to count all the people and tell you, you've got him, you've got him, you've got him. If they miscount or somebody's not quite sure, things like this happen. Ryan Hansen comes through and gets a block.
And the BC Lions with a 4-point lead, 25-21, take over at the Stampeder 24-yard line. Hansen, another one of the players Obilovich has brought to BC that he knew from before in Toronto. Here's Lorenzo Graham with a carry, and he'll gain 3 yards. Matt Finley made the stop. Doug Landry's left knee getting some attention at the BC Lion bench.
Second down, BC.
Leading tackler in the CFL last year with 122 of them. And he had 46 in 10 games for BC coming into this game. Henry Smith, linebacker for Calgary, who's replacing injured Kenny Ford, shaken up on that play.
It's been an extremely hard-hitting game to this point, and it's just starting. I think it's just starting to show right now.
Dan Wicklund getting some instructions. He's a backup linebacker who will come in and play for Henry Smith. 9:05 left. We're in the 3rd quarter at McMahon Stadium. The BC Lions lead the Calgary Stampeders 25-21, and the Lions are 2nd and 7 at the Stampeder 21-yard line. Flutie sends Alexander wide right, Hunter to the left. The backs move in motion to the left, and Flutie will run for his life. And he'll throw incomplete to Alexander, but a very short gain. They'll mark him at the 21, so there'll be no gain on the play.
It's kind of interesting what the Lions are doing here. When they send everybody out of the backfield, most of the people to the wide field, the defense knows that that's the direction Flutie's going to run in, so they'll send that backside linebacker to try to catch him. He's got to make sure he keeps contained, though.
leading receivers in the game today. Almost identical numbers for Ray Alexander and Derek Crawford. Tony Martino will attempt a 28-yard field goal. He's 1 for 2 today. Missed a 40-yarder. Kicked a 41-yarder just a few minutes ago. And with Flutie holding, will attempt to put it through from the 28-yard line. And it's wide left. Hopkins catches it at the dead ball line. It's a point for the Lions, but they don't cash in very big. And are now up by 5.
For a single point.
CFL Priority Courier Player of the Week. The offensive player for week number 13 is Toronto's Ricky Foggy. Quarterback Ricky Foggy almost rewrote the club's single-game TD passing record. Foggy's 7 TD passes tied Tobin Rote's 30-year club mark. In the process, he also dashed for 112 yards on 10 carries. Ricky Foggy, CFL Priority Courier Offensive Player of the Week.
Please report to the information booth.
8 minutes and 5 seconds left in the third quarter. BC ahead by 5. A missed field goal by Martino. The Stampeders first down, and the pass complete to Crawford up near the 50 for a gain of 14.
Orman's pass complete to Derek Crawford.
Crawford is a pretty dangerous receiver, and I know Coach Abilovich was really concerned they're going to try and double him somewhat. But again, when a receiver has that great, tremendous speed, defenses have to respect him, and a lot of times those defensive backs will really back off, let him catch the ball in front of them, and his tremendous speed makes him effective on the shorter passes.
Stampeders from their 49. Warman, and Dietrich Wise has Warman for a big loss. Back close to the 40-yard line. Dietrich Wise with a quarterback sack. And as we said earlier, the Lions had the fewest of those in the CFL starting this game.
I guess Dietrich Wise has a lot of reason to celebrate. He's played, this would be his 7th game. He's a rookie out of Jackson State, and it's his first sack, so he's got to be pretty excited about that. And when they watch the films, I'm sure he'll mention to his teammates that that's my first sack.
3 sacks by the Lions today, none for the Stampeders, and 2nd and 18 for Calgary. BC really missing a chance to take advantage of that block punt with Martino missing the field goal. And the pass by Warman is incomplete. It was intended for Crawford, just inside BC territory. 26-21, the Lions leading Calgary, 6:49 left in the third quarter. Brent Matic had his last punt attempt blocked. And that, of course, does not count in his punting average. We'll watch him set up and kick it this time from the end zone. And this time Matic gets it away, low kick into the wind, and it'll go out of bounds at the BC 38-yard line. 6.5 minutes to go. Third quarter, a 5-point BC lead.
First down for the British Columbia Lions. Ball from 37-yard line.
BC Lions only have a 3-10-1 record, but they're 2-5 on the road, actually better than they've been at home this season, where they're 1-5-1, and they're giving the Calgary Stampeders all they want today at McMahon Stadium with 6.5 minutes left in the third quarter. Lions start from their 38-yard line. But Flutie sprints away from the center, sets up. Here comes the pressure. He gets the ball off and completes it to the Calgary 52 to Ray Alexander, and Flutie really got popped just as he let the ball go.
He did, Bob, and again, rolling him out gives him better sight angles down the field rather than throwing with all that action in his face. One thing when you roll out, though, that backside, you better keep rolling because you know once you stop, that pursuit's going to catch you. Again, Ray Alexander making a tough catch when they need it.
21-yard gain. Actually, the hit on Flutie wasn't as hard as I thought it was initially, as Ballard let up a little bit. From the 52 of Calgary, Flutie scrambles away and then throws it into the middle of the field. A center screen look.
Flutie's pass.
Lorenzo Graham and a short gain.
Gain of 1 yard on the play. Joe
As we're watching Doug Flutie, I was really impressed on that play. Walter Ballard, one of the backs, came up and tried to cut his legs down again to bring those hands down so Flutie can throw, see downfield. Ballard just showed tremendous athletic ability, actually leaping up in the air over top of that chop block.
2nd and 10, Lions at the Calgary 51-yard line. Here comes Clausey. He's picked up. Flutie gets the ball away, and Hunter can't squeeze it at the 40-yard line. Tony Hunter, another sidearm throw by Doug Flutie, who's shown us everything in his arsenal this afternoon.
The Stampeders, now they didn't start off with a lot of pressure, but now they're bringing their linebackers a little bit, and again trying to get some things happening from a defensive standpoint. And when you see Doug Flutie fling that ball with that sidearm motion, I think sometimes has a tendency to float and get away from him.
Third down and 10 for the BC Lions. 5 minutes left, third quarter, as Martino gets set to punt. Good snap by Kohler and a good kick by Martino. He drives it into the end zone. Crawford, 10 yards deep, concedes the single point. It's with the score, BC 27 and Calgary 21. Let's pause 10 seconds for stations from coast to coast to identify themselves. You're watching Molson Canadian Football Network. 6-point BC lead after the single by Martino. 4 minutes, 40 seconds left now, third quarter. Stampeders from their 35.
1-2-2.
Warman, lots of time. He'll take off and run for a few yards. He'll get 7 out to the 42. Rick Warman would rather not run because he doesn't have great speed, but that time it was too wide open to refuse.
Well, it was a heads-up play only because the BC secondary that time had real good coverage. No one was open. He figures why try something that might turn out to be bad. Just hang on to the ball and pick up what I can get.
That single by Tony Martino a minute ago was 56 yards. And the Stampeders are 2nd and 3 at their 42-yard line. Warman throws, Beals open and makes the catch at the Calgary 49, 7-yard gain and a first down. John Beals, Idaho State product, 24 years of age. He and Alan Pitts new in the receiving corps.
And just driving the defender back off, turn around and just sit down right in there, give a bit of a target for the quarterback. Drawhorn again, comes up, makes a play, but in that situation, he's got to probably play that receiver a little tougher, giving him an easy first down there.
And off to Tony Cherry, and Landry is there to meet him and had help. Cherry will perhaps have a gain of a yard.
Landry, a gain of 1 yard on the play. Second down.
Unless you can block Doug Landry on a consistent basis, you're really, your running game is not really going to go anywhere. You see how tight he can play up to the line and still not get blocked, avoid the chop block, fly down the line, and make the play.
All right, we're coming back all the way to the great chop.
Interesting chap. Here's Rick Warman on 2nd down and 9, and he's sacked. The ball comes out, but the Stampeders got it back at their 42 or 43-yard line.
Ball
Tony Simmons was in on the pressure.
Coverage by Andy McVeigh.
Willie Pless blitzing.
Stampeder loss.
The Lions kept coming into the game, only had 23 sacks, and that's really last in the league. And I guess if they figure they're not going to get enough pressure from just their front four, they're going to take a little bit of a chance, send some linebackers, put more pressure on the secondary because those guys are going man-on-man down the field now. It's a bit of a gamble, sorry.
Nick Matic to punt. Here comes a big rush by the Lions again, and Matic just got it away. There's a flag down for contacting the kicker, Tony Hunter, with the ball. Stopped at the BC 33, and then a flag comes down at the end of the return by Hunter. So we have a couple of penalties for referee Bud Steen to sort out with 2 minutes and 49 seconds remaining in the third quarter at McMahon Stadium. Boy, the Stampeders have really rebounded, Nick, since they were beaten 70-18 at the Sky Dome in Toronto. They came back the following week and won 52-8 in Ottawa. How do you explain that?
Well, you probably would say that it was an off week, obviously, that they were never mentally prepared to play that football game. And I think a good coach doesn't overreact in a situation like that. The guys feel bad enough as it is. They know they stunk the joint out. So they'll come back, and if they're professionals, they can motivate themselves to play better.
And then they won last week here at home against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And are 6 points down to the BC Lions playing at McMahon this afternoon. Bud Steen is talking it over with Willie Pless and Rick Warman, as there were 2 penalties on that play. So we'll get the explanation now from Bud Steen.
We have contacting the kicker, BC number 4. Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Calgary number 35. It'll be third down repeated.
We talked about Dan Wicklund later being an extremely aggressive player. More than likely, if you're going to go in on the tackle, make a play like that, don't lead with your head. The player on the ground is unprotected in that situation.
So the penalty's offset, and they run it down over. Third down. Stampeders from their 38, third and long. This time not a big rush, and a low kick by Matic. It barely cleared the line of scrimmage, and Tony Hunter has it at the 40, and he's up to the BC 44-yard line. So through all that, the Lions are 11 yards better off in terms of their field position.
The punches on the coverage for the Stampeders. First down,
Lucius
BC
Floyd has just scored on a 78-yard pass and run play. Saskatchewan leading the Eskimos at Taylor Field 19-8. Could the Eskimos lose a third game in a row? Yes, they could. And wouldn't that ever thicken the plot in the West? Stampeders could be in first place by themselves if they can come back and win, and the Eskimos go on to lose. Doug Flutie on first down, and he'll swing it out to Graham. Lorenzo Graham, and he won't gain anything as the Stampeders really swarm to the ball.
Stampeders that time had a man-to-man defense, and the guy on the spot in that situation was the linebacker Henry Smith, who does an excellent job of basically holding up Graham long enough that he knows that he's going to get some help coming from his inside. Take away the outside, wait for your teammates to help you out.
Lorenzo Graham joined the Lions after being cut by the Calgary Stampeders from the 45, second and 10. Flutie wide open is Alexander at the 45 and into the Calgary 41-yard line. Doug Flutie once again goes to his favorite target, Ray Alexander.
The thing that makes Ray Alexander, I think, such an excellent receiver is more than anything, he's a veteran player, his knowledge of the game. He understands that where the defense is, what the defense is trying to do. He'll go in behind the linebackers and in front of the defensive backs, turn around, present a target, make the reception. And Flutie has confidence that when he throws him the ball, this guy's going to catch it for me.
24-yard gain. Alexander has caught 6 for 89 yards. Lions first and 10. Hand off. Skinner to the 30 and down to the 28 of the Stampeders. A gain of 13. Less than a minute to go now in the third quarter.
Anytime you're using a lot of lateral movement in your offensive attack, again with the quarterback or your running backs, you get that defense moving laterally, and when you do, it opens up running lanes for the backs. And a lot of that's just because of the job that Doug Flutie's been doing, running from side to side.
Third best running game in the CFL belongs to the Lions. They've averaged 126 yards a game this season. Flutie wants to throw on first down and does. Completes it to the 21-yard line to Tony Hunter. They'll give him the 20, and that'll be a gain of 8.
Bobilovich was really kind of surprised that Tony Hunter bounced around a little bit from team to team this year, because he figured here's a guy that's setting all kinds of records for punt returns and things, and he is a good receiver, a lot better than I thought he was. He's got great speed and a great attitude, and we're lucky to have him.
Started the year with Edmonton, went to Winnipeg, Calgary, and now with BC. Tony Hunter. Second down and 2. Lions, Calgary 20-yard line. Handoff Skinner, and he takes it back in the middle and finds the room for the first down, a 5-yard gain to the Stampeder 15, and that play ends the third quarter for the BC Lions. Doug Landry up by 6.
Ladies and gentlemen, Calgary 31st, November 3rd.
The fourth quarter at McMahon Stadium begins with the BC Lions first and 10 at the 15-yard line of the Stampeders, and the Lions leading by 6. Flutie sprints way left, stops, throws. Christensen at the 5, brought down at the 3-yard line. The tackle made by McCrary, but it'll be first and goal for the BC Lions. Flutie to Christensen.
Well, I think any attempt to make Doug Flutie into a drop-back quarterback is really wasting his talents, because this is the stuff that this guy does so well. See Will Johnson coming in your picture there, does really a great job to keep contained, brings him down. The frustrating part is, though, Flutie, for Will Johnson that is, that Flutie gets the pass off and they're threatening to score.
When Flutie sprints out, he sprints out. And he looked like he was heading for the sideline on that play. Pulled up and threw a nice pass. First and goal from the Calgary 4 for the BC Lions. And off to Graham. Flutie barely got the ball to Graham, and he is stuffed for no gain.
No gain on the play.
Well, they ran, I guess you would call it a tight set in there, where they had 2 tight ends and 3 backs, or a full house set. And more than anything, I think it was just Flutie's footwork. He didn't step down, he stepped too flat, not enough down the field in order to get that ball and make a good exchange.
Timing not great on that exchange. Now the BC Lions have kept the extra blockers in. The only wide receiver is Ray Alexander. He split to the right, 2nd and goal from the 4. And there's a flag. It took them too long to get the play off.
Number 22. 2nd down repeated.
Flutie had looked to the sidelines, wondering if they were going to send the wide receivers back in that they'd taken out, Nick, and during the time getting those indications from Bob Obilovich, and then by the time they got it going, the 20 seconds was gone.
Well, that penalty certainly helped them make up their minds, too.
Yeah, did it ever. The receivers are back in. 2nd and goal. Lions, Calgary 10. Flutie in the end zone, no good, intended for Alexander, but the pass was off the mark.
Peterson on the coverage, 3rd down, BC Lions.
So Doug Flutie won't have his 3rd touchdown pass of the day, has 2 already. And Bob Obilovich shakes his head over that turn of events. Joe Pau with the cap on. He and Major Harris both dressed.
I think what frustrates Obilovich is that you're not there as an offensive or defensive team until you accomplish the goal that you set out. In that case, score the touchdown, finish the drive. You're getting better as a team when you can do that.
Martino, a 17-yard field goal, and it's good, and it's a 30-21 BC lead. Molson and the Canadian Football Network proud to bring you the best of the CFL.
21. Okay, here we go.
Take up your tape.
Bob Obilovich has the upper hand by 9 points on Wally Buono. Early in the 4th quarter at McMahon Stadium in Calgary, the Lions kick off after the field goal by Martino, and McVeigh can't find much room to bring it back. But Nick, if BC happens to lose this game, they're going to look back at some missed opportunities. Blocked punt at the 24-yard line. They got a missed field goal, a single, and now at the 4, 1st and goal, and they have to settle for a field goal.
That's right, Bob. You only get so many chances in a game. The idea is to make them count every time you do get a chance. Otherwise, it's only regrets.
So they're ahead by 9, but they've had great chances to expand that lead by much more than that. Warman, the toss to Cherry on 1st down. Alondra Johnson hits him. Plus comes along to help out. And Cherry will get 83 yards on the run.
Cherry did a lot of that on his own. Alondra Johnson was unblocked on the play and standing at the end of the line waiting on him. Cherry just turns his body on contact and backs up for the yardage.
Cherry started his CFL career with the BC Lions and broke in with a bang in 1988. Had an outstanding year. Signed with Ottawa as a free agent. And now with Calgary. 2nd down and 7. Stampeders at their 47. Warman, wide open pitch down to the 47-yard line of BC.
Alan Pitts presents a tremendous target. He's another one of those tall receivers that's 6'4", 200 pounds. And again, at 6'4", you know, he's got probably a very deceptive stride in that he doesn't look like he's going that fast, but in reality he is. Just pushes a defender off, turn around once again, find a spot where no defenders are. And that's a heads-up play, really, a veteran play by a rookie player.
17-yard gain, 1st and 10 at the BC 46. Fake by Warman, has a man wide open, and he gets the ball to him to the 30. And down to the 25, Sapunja stepped out of bounds at the 26-yard line of BC. Rookie Dave Sapunjas with his first catch of the day.
Well, you see 2 plays in a row there where the Stampeders have employed play action. In other words, fake the running play. Warman will take the ball back and then throw it to whomever is open down the field. And that type of thing was in their game plan to really limit the effectiveness of the BC Lion linebackers, who's the strength of their defense.
Sapunja's barely out of bounds, but it's a 1st and 10 Stamps at the BC 25-yard line. Warman, lots of time, puts it up for Sapunjas, but he can't get to it. He got tied up with Ken Watson and not able to get under the ball.
Calgary crews continue to provide excellent
You know,
coverage.
Wally Buono, we were talking to him before the game. He doesn't want to talk a lot about this is a critical game for first place and all the rest of it. He said, let's make sure when the playoffs roll around that we're playing well and that we have people healthy and we're ready to go. He won't put a lot of emphasis on where they finish, but you know he wants to finish first. 2nd and 10, Stamps at the BC 25-yard line. Warman to Pitts at the 10. Jefferson stops him, but a Calgary first down.
A great move that time by Alan Pitts, and what he does is he gets Jefferson convinced that he's going to go into the end zone and they're going to try to go deep for the touchdown on this play. He gets the outside release. Now he has the advantage of seeing when the ball's coming. Get a little push off there, which nobody calls. And again, just an excellent play by a rookie receiver.
27-year-old rookie from Cal State Fullerton, Alan Pitts, 1st and 10 from just outside the 10 of BC for Calgary. Warman to McVeigh, touchdown. But there is a flag. There is a flag down, and we think it is going to go against the Stampeders.
Holding Calgary number 61. 2nd down repeated.
I feel you got to feel bad for Tom Spallettini. That's one of those instances where you wish that there was like a trap door in the middle of the field so that it would open up and you would just disappear and no one would have to see you. Blown coverage that time by the Lions. One of those linebackers should have had McVeigh. He dropped off to help out elsewhere. It was a good read by the quarterback Warman.
So it'll be 1st down and 20, Stampeders from the BC 21-yard line. And it's a draw to Cherry, and Landry has him. There's Landry back playing like gangbusters after almost being carried off the field earlier.
Well, we've talked about his toughness, and once again now they try a little more finesse of the trap block and catch Landry coming across. Landry just backs up like an Olay move and makes the play. Guy has great vision to see where the blockers are coming from.
Eskimos have scored. Craig Ellis, 17th touchdown reception of the year, one short of tying the record, and Saskatchewan leads by 4 at Taylor Field. And there's the pass for Pitts from Warman. One hand on it, but that's all. And the Stampeders are going to have to settle for a field goal try by Mark McLaughlin.
At this point, you see Warman seems to have something going with Alan Pitts. He's been going to him quite a bit. Those are the kind of passes, though, that receivers really hate, because as you're reaching up, your whole side, your ribs are all exposed, and you know one of those defenders is going to be the area and in the area. And if he catches you, it could be a cracked rib, or he's really going to tattoo you good.
Marshall Toner will hold for Mark McLaughlin from the 29-yard line. And the field goal is good, and the Lion lead is down to 6 points, 30-24, with 9:01 left in the 4th quarter.
Calgary Stampeders, 24.
A 29-yard field goal by Mark McLaughlin at 5:59 of the 4th quarter, and it's a 6-point BC lead. The Lions take the ball at their 35. Lorenzo Graham bursts up the middle for 15 to the 50.
Lorenzo Graham, the ball carrier, again.
The Lions have had some success running right up the middle of that Stampeder defense, and again working against the rookie linebacker Joe Clausey from Utah. And it's just a little bit of cross blocking, and Graham shows good patience getting up in behind the block, and then once he's into the secondary, picking his way through there.
1st and 10 from the 50. Doug Flutie, 20 out of 32 for 208 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that time, no room for Graham, as Ken Warnick was there to greet him.
Gain of 1 on the play.
Well, of course, you can fool me one time, but you better not try to do it a second time in a row. And I think the mismatch there is they're trying to get Chris Skinner to block on Kent Warnock, and I don't think that's going to happen too often.
Not fair to Skinner. But who said football was fair, eh, Nick? 2nd and 9, Lions at their 51-yard line. Flutie, big rush, he gets the pass away. No good intended for Carinci. The Stampeders really got after Doug Flutie that time.
Just before the snap of the ball, they brought Greg Peterson, their fine safety, who from Brigham Young University. 5 interceptions this year. He's having a good year. Bring him up on the end of the line and hope to get to Flutie before he can release the ball. Flutie made the right read, but just didn't put enough on the football.
And call 5-2-1, 5-2-2.
Tony Martino. Now remember, the wind favors Calgary in this fourth quarter, and it looks to me like it's picked up in velocity. So on 3rd and 9, Martino will kick into it. Bit of a high snap, and Martino gets it off in a hurry as the rush comes. Bounces sideways. McCrary at the 43 draws the no yards flag. Calgary will have good field position. 7.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The no yards penalty that we thought was going to be called hasn't been called. So the Calgary Stampeders will be at their 48-yard line. 1st and 10. 7.5 minutes left. And BC ahead by 6. That was only a 17-yard punt by Martino. Warman, long to Pitts down the sideline, and he can't get to it. Had he caught it, he would have been out of bounds. Very close coverage again by Chris Major, the former Stampeder who signed with BC as a free agent this year.
That was good coverage by Major, and Pitts really, he and Warman seemed to have something going here in the latter stages of the game. And the Stampeders at times sent everybody the other way and to try to get that one-on-one matchup to the short field.
Illegal procedure, Calgary, no end. Major foul, roughing the passer, British Columbia. It's 1st down.
Well, the Stampeders gained 10 yards in that exchange of penalties.
They call that on Willie Pless that time, the roughing the passer. And he does actually, you know, that hand shiver to the back of Warman to snap his neck. It really, you know, more than a little late, 3 or 4 steps late, in my opinion.
So it moves the Stampeders to the BC 52-yard line, 1st and 10. Warman to Pitts, and he drops it at the 40-yard line. The pass was a little bit behind him, but Pitts has had 3 that I can recall that were catchable and he couldn't hang on to.
Well, I think sometimes that, considering that he's a rookie receiver, you have to live with these sort of things. You realize that this guy may have a long career, hopefully, in front of him. Not, of course, if he keeps doing that, but you can live with a little bit of that, but not in critical or key situations.
Warman has been betrayed by his receivers a number of times today. 2nd and 10. A flag comes down as Warman releases to Tony Cherry, and Alondra Johnson really hits him hard. There's a holding call against Calgary Stampeders.
Johnson on the tackle. There is a flag.
The gain by Cherry was 3 yards.
Holding, Calgary number 61. Penalty is declined, 3rd down.
So you either make it 2nd and 20 or 3rd and 7.
Well, what happened that time was that actually it was Tom Spallettini was driven back by the nose tackle, and he did an old wrestling move there called a suplex, where he actually fell backwards, pulled the defensive tackle right on top of him, hoped that he would get away with it, but it was a little too obvious.
You're familiar with that move,
no.
I take it.
No, Bob.
Watch out, Joe!
3rd down and 7. Here's Brent Maddox punting. And what a kick with the wind. Maddox hammers it through the end zone for a single point. So with 6:29 to go in the fourth quarter, it's now a 5-point game. Don't know how happy Maddox is with that. I think he'd rather have kicked it down to about the 5-yard line. But he'll settle for the single.
The Stampeders house lottery draw will be made on November 4th during the Stampeder Eskimo game.
It's interesting. The guy hits it too well, and you can see that he is visibly upset by that.
For you to win. Get your tickets now.
Just from his reaction there. Maybe it's good for the average, but maybe not exactly what you want in this situation.
Yeah, you can't punt it too far. They wanted to just pin the Lions deep. The single point, not of that much value the way the Stampeders would look at it now. So the Lions are at their 35 after the 60-yard kick by Maddox. And off Graham. It's Skinner this time. Flag down as Skinner runs for 11 yards. But there is a penalty, and the Stampeders say it's holding against BC. We'll see.
Ball carrier Chris Skinner, a gain of 11 yards on the play.
6:10 left in the fourth quarter.
But there was a flag.
And the Stampeders were right about the penalty.
The Lions are the most penalized team in terms of yardage in the league.
Holding, BC number 83. It'll be 1st down repeated.
Slotback Jay Christensen is called for the holding.
The Calgary
He tried to help Chris Skinner around that left side.
We'd like to thank all fans here today for your very generous support and assistance.
What a difference penalties make. Instead of being at their 46-yard line, the Lions are back at their 25 with a 1st and 20. Flutie has Johnson waiting for him, but is able to get the pass away, and it's no good up at the 34-yard line. Excellent coverage by Darrell Hall.
A bit of misdirection that time, too, trying to get Will Johnson to chase Flutie, chase the player, the motion out across the field, and then Flutie will keep the ball and run it around where Johnson was supposed to be. And Will Johnson actually has been doing a pretty good job. He hasn't been getting upfield as much as he'd like, but it's pretty tough to do. You got to run laterally with a guy like Flutie and just not let him get around you.
2nd and 20 for Flutie and the BC Lions. The ball at their 25-yard line. Flutie over the middle. Christensen was wide open, but Flutie overthrew him, and he knows it.
Christensen incomplete. 3rd down, Lions.
Definitely a pass he'd like to have back. I almost thought it was tipped or something. It wasn't exactly probably the prettiest pass that he's thrown all day, and by and large he's been effective all day, but it just a lot of wobble to it, and I don't know if it got up too high and that gust of wind caught it.
Well, the wind grabbed that one, I believe. It's 3rd down and 20. Martino to punt into the wind, and he gets a beauty off. Crawford back to the Stampeder 44-yard line and down at the 46 and a half. The wind was not very strong at the start of the game. That was a 41-yard punt by Martino and a 2-yard return. But it seems to have picked up in the 4th quarter, and they're favoring, the wind is favoring the Calgary Stampeders. So an edge to Calgary with 5:14 to go.
It seemed to really catch that Flutie pass almost right in mid-throw there, and really did something, really turned it end over end.
Rick Warman has gone all the way at quarterback for the Stamps. Likewise, Flutie for BC. Johnson after Warman, but he gets the pass away, intercepted. The BC Lions have intercepted.
Warman's pass intended for Marshall Corner.
Willie Pless. Sorry, Bob. One reason that the Lions play Willie Pless at that, what they call a Sam linebacker, the linebacker that always has to go to the wide field, is because he has tremendous range, and he's very good in his pass coverage. He gets excellent drops, and the longer that quarterback holds onto the ball, the deeper those linebackers are supposed to back up, keep backing up, and then make the play when the quarterback throws.
That's only the 3rd turnover of the game. Willie Pless, big defensive play. Flutie throws on 1st down, knocked away by McCrary. Intended for Christensen. Willie Pless's 4th interception of the season.
2nd down, BC.
He has 3 quarterback sacks. He's 79 tackles coming into the game.
4 fumble recoveries. Just one of those players that's always around the football, and we've said it before. The strength of that BC Lion defense is him, Landry, and Alondra Johnson.
And this BC offensive line has done a pretty good job today. No sacks against Flutie. Of course, Flutie's had a lot to do with that. 2nd and 10 Lions from the Calgary 54, quarterback draw. Flutie has a 1st down to the 43-yard line.
On the quarterback draw, gain of 11 yards on the play. Another BC Lions 1st down.
Obviously, Wally Buono didn't like what he saw in that play. And Doug Flutie makes a good move here. He just reads that there's really essentially no one in the middle of that defense. The linebackers have walked outside to cover receivers and the backs, and he just takes it up the field, called play, and a smart read by Flutie.
Heads up call by Flutie, 1st and 10 Lions. And off to Graham, and he bounces off the first group of Stampeders, but not the second. Mitchell Price was in on the stop with linebacker Henry Smith.
Excellent play by the Stampeders defense that time. Now you see the play before where they take Peterson out of the middle. This time they bring him down out of the safety position in the middle of the field to the end of the line, and this time the blitz works. Play before it didn't.
2nd down and 12 yards to go. Lions at the Calgary 44. BC ahead by 5. Just over 3 minutes left as Flutie will not bid. Well, he's still going, but they ruled that he was in the grasp or stopped enough to stop the play. And it'll be a loss by the Lions and Flutie. 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter with the Lions hanging on to a 5-point lead. It looks like we will have a down-to-the-wire finish at McMahon Stadium. The last 3 minutes, third down and 14. Lions at the Calgary 47. Martino to punt. Stampeders come with a rush, but Martino gets it away. Bounces inside the 20. Smith picks it up. A 4-yard return. Smith for the San.
BC, first out.
Let's recap the score in the game. Ray Alexander, as the BC Lions got off to a great start on a pass from Doug Flutie. Then it was Tony Hunter from Flutie and 14-0 BC. Lorenzo Graham scored to make it 21-1 in the first quarter. Stampeders with a big kickoff return by Hopkins. We're back in it. McLaughlin with a field goal. We'll resume the summary after this play. First and 10 from the 33 for the Stampeders. Warman, and a wobbly pass, incomplete. Stampeders got a touchdown from Alan Pitts in the last minute of the first half to cut BC's lead to 4 points. In the third quarter, Mark McLaughlin trimmed it to 1, but then Tony Martino with a field goal for BC to make it 25-21. Martino another field goal. And then McLaughlin again. And Mark McLaughlin in this fourth quarter, and then a single by Matic. And it's 30-25 BC, 2:35 to go, second and 10 Stampeders. Warman, and he falls as he gets to the sideline at the 31-yard line. That'll be a 2-yard loss for Rick Warman, who just couldn't see anything downfield.
Well, just excellent coverage that time, Bob, by the BC secondary, Ken Watson in particular. As Warman, as you can see his eyes look, he's looking that field over. There's just nothing available. And he bails out rather than getting hit, but a great job by the secondary of the Lions that time.
Stampeders line up quickly to punt. Brent Matic with the wind, and he tries to get this one out of bounds. And it does go out of bounds, but they're going to move it upfield. 2 minutes, 23 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
CFL Priority Courier Player of the Week. The defensive player for week number 13 is Saskatchewan's Eddie Lowe. Key plays at critical times triggered the Saskatchewan Roughriders to their 37-34 taming of the BC Lions. Linebacker Eddie Lowe emerged with 2 interceptions for 68 yards, 4 tackles, and solid leadership as the Roughriders turned back the Lions. Eddie Lowe, CFL Priority Courier, Defensive Player of the Week.
Just a 29-yard punt by Matic and a good run by Lorenzo Graham of close to 10 yards from the BC 50 to the Calgary 50. Matic on his earlier punt had kicked it too far for a single. Nicky tried to angle that one out of bounds, but didn't get it exactly where he wanted it.
I think it's probably one of the toughest things for a punter to do is to try to angle a ball out of bounds.
Saskatchewan now with an 11-point lead at Taylor Field in Regina, 29-18. Only 40 seconds left, so it looks like Saskatchewan will win that. They'd go to 8-7, and Edmonton would drop to 9-6. Flutie on second and short. Quarterback sneak for a first down. 2:03 left. BC ahead, 30-25.
If you look at it statistically, Bob, the Lions have 416 yards of offense this game, and they've been averaging 414 yards, so they've held up their end of the deal, I guess, in this game, but where they've really come on, obviously, has been their defense.
They've actually averaged more yards offense than they've given up this year, the Lions, if you can believe that. They're 3-10-1. Here's Skinner carrying. Finley has him, but Skinner works ahead for an 8-yard gain to the Stampeder 40. The Lions making their ground game work.
Big down, let's go! Come on, G!
Well, that's got to be a concern of Wally Buono's, because both Graham and Skinner have had a lot of success running the ball, and they're not just getting 1 or 2 yards every time. They're picking up big chunks of yardage.
And they're well above their season average. 197 yards for the Lions on the ground today. 2nd and 2 from the Calgary 40. And Skinner is to the outside and inside the 15 of the Stampeders. And Wally Buono ripped his headset off on that play.
They're just working that short field game almost to death, and Stampeders seem really unable to stop this play. They're getting to the middle linebacker Clausey time after time, and the onus is on him to make the play, and if he's getting caught up in that blocking and not being able to flow to that back, they're going to run all day on him.
Well, and the beauty of grinding it out on the ground is you use up more time. Although on that play, Skinner ran out of bounds, so the clock won't start until the ball is snapped. From the 14-yard line, 1st and 10, Flutie, handoff Skinner, who'll try to take it wide right, and he's stuffed on that play.
Skinner, the ball carrier, tackled by Will Johnson. No gain on the play. 2nd down, BC.
Now with 1:14 left, the clock will begin to run as soon as time is whistled in. 30-25, the BC Lions are leading. Now their playoff hopes will be killed if Saskatchewan beats Edmonton, as it appears they will. But this will be a great stepping stone for Bob Abilovich and his team if the Lions can hang on.
Well, they've still got things to play for. Every week there's a paycheck to play for. There's also jobs for next season to play for. And the idea is to leave a lasting impression at the end of this year so that Coach Abilovich and his staff can assess you and say, this is a guy that we want with us next year.
We just heard the referee, Bud Steen, say put 4 seconds on the clock. Second down and 9 for Flutie and the BC Lions as Obilovich gives them instructions as to what to do with the clock. So Doug Flutie lets as much time run off as possible. And hands off up the middle to Skinner, and he is grabbed right at the line of scrimmage. Good defense by the Stampeders. 53 seconds left. Calgary should use its timeout now. And they have, because if they hadn't, the Lions would have been able to run another 20 seconds off the clock. So we'll see Martino in the field goal unit. And if Martino makes the field goal, it'll be an 8-point lead, but the Stamps would then be within striking range with a touchdown and a 2-point convert to tie the game.
What a good feeling for a coach, Coach Abilovich, that his running game at latter stages of the game, they can eat up a lot of the clock and virtually march that ball down the field. And I know that's got to be really disappointing for Wally Buono, because he felt that after some of the things that happened earlier, they put a couple wins together, seemed to be on the right track, challenging for first place. Obviously, maybe, you know, they're not there yet, but they still are a good football team. And I think that they'll be in the thick of things as it comes down to the final stretch drive here.
Martino will attempt a 22-yard field goal with Flutie holding. It's up, and it is good. And so it's 33-25 for BC with 50 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
25.
Doug Flutie's had maybe his best game in the Canadian Football League. He's had a couple of good ones earlier this year. Good one last week against the Ottawa Rough Riders.
By using him as in that sprint out capacity, I really feel that what Bob Obilovich has done is forced Doug Flutie to involve himself in the game mentally much more so than he had been in the past. The drop back thing just doesn't work for him, I think, and probably is a good competitor, feels more involved, and consequently it shows in his play. He seems more, he's not disinterested like I got the feeling he was sometimes earlier this year.
Of course, Flutie had a big game against the Stamps when they opened the season, a 38 all-overtime tie. He came off the bench and helped BC draw even. Martino has been asked to kick off by the Stampeders after that field goal. Clock starts now, and the ball is grabbed by Crawford. Flags down as Crawford is to the 50. 45 seconds left. There are penalty flags on the play. And the Stampeders do not need and cannot afford a penalty now. But they have one. So instead of starting from their 50,
holding Calgary number 35, first down.
Stamps will be back at their 30-yard line. Valuable real estate with 45 seconds left.
At this point in the game is where you hate to be an offensive lineman, because you know you've got a long way to go, and all you're going to be doing is backing up and pass blocking. And those defensive linemen, the lines, are going to come after that quarterback pretty tough right now.
Shotgun formation. Rick Warman throws, has Pitts open. He needs to get out of bounds, and does at the 46-yard line. 16-yard gain. That play used 7 seconds. 38 left in the fourth quarter. Stamps down by 8. Alan Pitts has made some key catches today. He's also dropped 2 or 3 he should have had. Warman again out of the shotgun. Steps up away from the rush and throws for Crawford. It's deflected right to Crawford, and then he couldn't squeeze it.
Warman's pass deflected.
The Lions right now are employing what they call a prevent defense, where they're only rushing 3 linemen, and they're trying to drop everybody back off into coverage. Consequently, Chris Major is really right there to make the play. He should have made the play. He doesn't, but then Crawford should have made the play, and he doesn't either.
If the Stampeders lose, they will look to drop passes as a real thorn in their side on this Sunday afternoon. 2nd and 10. Warman sprints out and throws finally and completes it up to the 54-yard line. Only 24 seconds left. And a gain of about 7 yards. It'll be 3rd down. The Stampeders need to convert this and then get the ball in the end zone, or try to.
3rd down, Stampeders.
Gotta get first, Rick! Gotta get first, Rick! Gotta get first, Rick!
There you hear the bench reminding Warman he needs to get a first down. And he goes downfield, and it's completed the 35-yard line to Fields. 16 seconds to go.
A Stampeder first down.
Again, the young receivers are catching the ball now, and they need to catch the football right now. They're moving this ball effectively, and with 16 seconds, that's plenty of time.
Time for 2 more plays. Maybe 3. Warman, and it's tipped, and no good down at the 15-yard line. 6 seconds left, so the Stampeders will have 1 shot, and Warman will call them to huddle up as Tony Spallettini comes in from the bench with a play.
Willie Pless made a real good play that time to just, again, keep dropping back into your coverage. As long as the quarterback hangs on the ball, keep getting back there. A nice leap by him to deflect that pass.
Here it is, 6 seconds to go. This could be the last play, and probably will be. Rick Warman has to throw it in the end zone, and he does. And it's knocked away by Drawhorn. The receiver would have been out of bounds had he caught it. And Bob Obilovich is now 2-2 as head coach of the BC Lions. And what a disheartening setback for Wally Wano and the Calgary Stampeders, who had a chance to move into first place if they could have won this game today. Final score, BC 33 and Calgary 25.